Welcome to another episode, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. The notorious booty bandit Fleece Johnson. He says that he had to kill a man there in prison for trying to grape him, for trying to take his manhood. I found this a little ironic because I thought Fleece Johnson was in there taking individuals' manhoods. But he had said before in other interviews, Fleece Johnson, that all of the things that he got involved with other men there in prison was consensual, that he's never taken anything from another man. He just talked them out of it or whatever, out of their manhood, finessed them out of their manhood, if you will. But here, again, Fleece Johnson is talking on No Jumper to Adam 22 about what happened the day an inmate in his cell, a humongous individual tried to take it from him, tried to take his manhood. He says he had to kill him, that he killed this individual. I didn't know about this. I just saw some of this and I found it interesting. Let's get into it.
How do you get from being 16 and this guy is trying to take advantage of you behind bars, you have to fight him off, you're horrified by the idea of this guy raping you. How do you go from that to the point where you actually start taking advantage of other men or dipping your toe into that?
I'm going to tell you, it started when I went to Eddyville. The cell they put me in, back then they had double cells. They ain't got it no more, but I'll tell you about that later. But they put me in a cell with this big old black dude they call Big Doc. I'm talking about he was about 6'5", weighed about 285, solid, real dark. His nose was about the size of my fist. And he had red eyes like a gorilla. And so I had a little prayer knife at that time. And when they put me in the cell with him, he was walking around and he was wearing some shorts with a lot of holes in them. So every time he moved, his dick would pop out. The head of his dick would pop out through the hole. So, you know, I already know where he's going with this, right? So I said, I better say something. So I said, hey, man. See, what I didn't know, let me back it up. What I didn't know before I moved in that cell, he had a hole in the wall.
Right.
A hole. And what he did, it took a balloon thing and put baby powder in it, blowed it up to where it's about ready to bust, and stuck it up in that hole, then took a newspaper and put some cement shit on it. When it hardened, he taped it over and then painted it where you can't tell it's there. It looked like the wall. So he gonna make me think he ran his hand through the wall just to get some damn ass, right?
I mean, that is such an insane level of plotting and planning to create this element that'll make it look like you're just the biggest psycho ever. Like you could just punch through a wall just so you can then scare your cellmate. And what the f? That's just...
Man, he scared the shit out of me.
Right.
I said, man, why don't you show me some respect?
Right.
He said, the only thing I'm going to show you is this big black cock. And he took and hit that wall. And when I seen his hand, and when I heard that boom, and his arm went up in there, and when he pulled it out and all that white shit on it, I'm thinking it's fragments of the cement or something. I ain't know it was baby powder.
You're thinking he's got superhuman strength.
Man, and when he ran up on me, he's like, stand up.
Now, I guess some dudes have, stash spots or whatever. They've been known to have stash spots in the wall. Put your cell phone in there or whatever, find a spot, carve it out, dig it out, put it in there, stuff it in there, what have you, and cover the wall back up. But I've never heard of anyone digging out a hole in the wall, which takes forever, and doing what he just said, blowing up a balloon and all of this, putting it in there, covering the wall back up to punch the wall, make it seem like he's just superhuman and has all of this strength as a way to convince this individual here, Fleece Johnson, to give up his manhood. Because I can put my fist through this here wall, that means that you're going to bend over for me. Huh? That makes no sense.
I said, hey, man, can we talk about this? He said, stand up, nigga. And I stood up, and I was holding his wrist. I said, man, don't do this. So he said, do I gotta fight you? I said, no. And I'm getting ready to give it to him. I'm not letting nobody run their hand through my, like he did at Wall, right? But his mistake was.
So it worked. The trick worked. Fleece said he was getting ready to just give it to him. Because he ain't about to get hit the same way that dude just hit the wall. So he was just about to give up his manhood, everything that he worked for. He's about to let it all go in a matter of a couple of seconds. Oh, my goodness. But he said that he made a mistake. He was about to give it to him. So this dude's little ploy worked with Fleece. Fleece thinks this dude is so strong that he put his hand through the wall that now he's about to relinquish his manhood to this individual because he was able to punch a hole in the wall. This makes no sense. But okay, I guess we're about to get to the point sooner or later where he deleted this individual, did Fleece. He said that he killed this man, as I said early on. But now we're at the point where he was about to give it up, bend over. Because the man put his hand through a fake wall, so through a prop. He put his hand through a prop. Man, knock it off.
It saved me. He tried to kiss me. I already felt his thing up against my booty and everything, but he pulled my head back and tried to stick his tongue in my mouth. And that was the nastiest feeling I ever felt in my life. And I gurgitated. I said, hell no. And by that time, I realized that I had that little pear knife because I moved and it stuck me on the hip. I said, man, he's going to have to kill me. So he said, hold your head back. I said, man, no. And I pulled that knife, I just started swinging, and I was cutting him, man. I was cutting. Here's what I believe. I believe he died. See, but like I was telling you about racism back in them days, them guards, when they came to get me, I was standing there shaking, holding this knife. He's laying on the ground, cut to hell, blood everywhere. They pulled him out. They pulled him up out of there. They took me to the hole, and I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get a lot of time. But when I went in front of the disciplinary committee, they say, we know who he is, we know what he does. You'll never see him again. And they let me out of the hole that day, then dropped all the charges. Now, when all the inmates heard about this, they like, oh boy, that little young dude there, boy, you don't want to mess with him. But they don't know. I was right there. I was getting ready to give it to him.
So why do you think he was dead? Just because they said you're never going to see him again?
Yeah, I never did see him again. And all the prisons in my state, I was sending letters to people. They said, no, nobody like that came to this prison. So I don't know what happened.
That's crazy. I feel like nowadays you would just find out, you would hear about it, but I guess.
Well, yeah, if you kill someone, you're going to know that he died. They're going to let you know that. So let me get this right. The dude came at Fleece, came up with some ploy. He's about to attack Fleece. Fleece is about to give it to him. The booty, his booty. According to him, and the only reason that he didn't is because the dude ended up kissing him in the mouth. He took umbrage to this, found it detestable, disgusting even. And so and he realized suddenly that he had a knife on him. He felt it right there. Oh, damn, I got a knife. And took it out and cut the dude, somehow sliced him up. But he's unsure as to whether or not the dude died. There in the hole, or wherever he was for that short time, they told him later on that day, whatever, we're letting you out of here. Don't worry about it. No charges, no nothing. We know who this dude is. We know that he has a propensity to assault grown men in here. But so Fleece, you never even gave him the story. You never even had to give him the story that you about you defending yourself. They just automatically they knew what the incident was about inside of the cell and just dropped the charges or never filed any charges to begin with. I mean, this is an awesome story here. I mean, I don't know, man. This is crazy. The fact that he's saying that he killed him, and yet he has no proof of this. He's assuming that the dude may have died because he said he wrote all of the prisons, wherever he's at, whatever state that he was in. And no one can account for this individual. He had not hit any yard. No one of that description has hit his yard, Fleece. Oh, he must be dead.
At that time, shit just got lost.
Yeah, they did a lot of secret stuff, man. It was a lot of stuff that happened, like dungeons.
Like torture style.
Yeah, they was hiring people to break me. They hired this man. He did 21 years into the military interrogation. He was a captain over the interrogation of the enemy. They hired this man to come in prison and break me. And they gave him a house across the street from the prison, and he put word out. Anytime I act up, ain't nobody to deal with him but him. So he did waterboarding with me. But I tricked him on that because when I was in the hole, they gave me 12 years in the hole. Well, 27 years, I ended up doing 12. And ain't nobody ever never did that type of time in that prison, in the hole.
You spent 12 years alone?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And most of it naked. Fighting the guards coming through, take my food tray, say, Fleece, here's your food. Boom. And just throw it through the bars and I got to
most
off
of
the
it
floor
naked
and off the wall.
This dude is obsessed with being naked and all of this crazy stuff. Man, this dude is banana. Berserk even.
And stuff to eat it, right? I said, okay, I'm going to get you. And I always got him. I get back at him. So that's the type of fighting we was doing in there. But what happened was, I started winning. When I started throwing that duty on him, it scared them so bad, and they kept running to the lawmakers in Frankfurt. Can y'all do something about this? They said, no, you work there at your own risk. For 6 years, I threw duty on him and had all the inmates to do it too. And I'm talking about all of them, nurses, doctors, guards. They brought people in from our state capitol building, corrections cabinet department. They come in wearing them suits and stuff and leave out covered in shit. I did all that. And when they made it a felony, that's when I stopped. But by that time, man, I was controlling the prison at that time.
I mean, it really says a lot that you can take men who have literally nothing. In some cases, they're naked, they're alone, and that they're still going to find some way to fight back, even if it's to take the only weapon that they have, which is the shit coming out of their own asses, and that will be how they fight back. Like, it's crazy that they couldn't kill your spirit enough to just make you just give in. You still were going to take the last possible resource you had and fight back with it.
Well, the guy that they hired to break me, he died trying to break me in the penitentiary. His heart busted. I sat there. I said to myself, you know what? Y'all call him, tell him, man, I'm done. I was getting ready to give in. That man took me through some torture and stuff. And when they brought him, when he came over, he said, you want to see me? I said, yeah. I'll never forget it. He had a pack of non-filter Camel cigarettes. He took out his pocket, did like that, and when he lit it, his body he buckled. And he left and went on outside my door on the side of the wall. I said, oh, shit. Something is wrong with his heart. And when he came back around that corner, I said, I'm going to tell you something, man. If you don't leave me alone, I'm going to bust your heart. You'll die messing with me. And I spit in his face, and it was on. So we went through another big fight, and then 3 days later, they come through, said he died. He was dead.
If you haven't checked out.
Wow. Okay, there you have it. That's Adam 22, of course. No jumper. That's Fleece Johnson, a.k.a. the Notorious Booty Bandit. And you heard it. Let me know what you think in the comments. He said that, he was about to give in to this individual with his manhood. He was about to give up his manhood to this individual because he punched the wall. He believed that he had punched the wall. Then he realized that he had a knife on him and decided to use that instead once the dude did what he did, kissed him or whatever, and he couldn't take that. He could take the other thing he was about to give him, but he just couldn't take that kiss. So he put out his thing and cut him up, resulting in him dying, he believes. No proof, but he believes that the individual died because he never heard from him again. I don't know what state he's in. In California, we're going to know if you died, particularly if you were the one that committed the homicide. But, everywhere and everything is different. Let me know what you think. These situations do transpire there in prison. I did plenty of time there in prison. These situations do transpire where someone will try to take your manhood. It happens. And you do indeed have to protect yourself, unlike what Fleece Johnson was about to do at first anyway. He was about to give it up, according to him. But you have to protect yourself inside of that place, or just protect yourself and don't go. Stay safe and stay free, people.